Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jamaica 411. I'm your host, Michelle Stern. So happy to be with you today and very happy to have you here with me. I'm bringing you a special news item. It concerns the controversy which was stirred up by comments in the Integrity Commission's annual report 2023 to 2024, where the IC chairman, Justice Panton, had something to say of a criticism nature, I would say, of the police handling of last year's shooting incident involving one of its directors. Now, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Mr. Fitz Bailey, shot back and he did an interview with Cliff Hughes, which is very revealing. I would encourage you to listen to it from start to finish because it is very, very important what is happening between these two very vital bodies of government. But before I bring you the interview, let me remind you to please subscribe if you have not yet done so. And if you're here with me for the first time, welcome. My viewers, my subscribers, loyal supporters, thank you so much for always supporting the channel. I'm not going to get into more chattering because, I chat a lot. And Princess is always complaining that I need to cut it short. And, Princess as Liz. So let's listen.
The matter of crime, the police gave an update on crime yesterday and also a number of crime-related issues. And one of those issues was the incident last year. It was as long as last year. Boy, time flies. Last year of a director of the Anti-Corruption Integrity Commission. Yes, that's the body set up to fight corruption in the country. And one of its directors was robbed in the car park outside of its New Kingston offices last year. And it took on added significance because it was being suggested that the robbing or the robbery was related to the fact that he was a director of the Integrity Commission. And of course, that statement of the executive director of the commission about go ask the government about it, that he has not apologized for, and we have not had a word from the Integrity Commission on. Well, yesterday, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitz Bailey, told the media briefing that the failure of the Commission's director to file a formal complaint about what happened in the shooting incident has stalled the police investigation into the incident.
Whilst we are aware of the incident and we have sought to appreciate the complaint, to this date, based on the information I got from our investigator, the complainant has not given a statement. He refused from giving the statement under the pretext that he is afraid. So we can't proceed our progress and investigation without a formal complaint.
That's DCP Fitz Bailey. Well, the Integrity Commission director is Ryan Evans, and he was shot and injured and his briefcase stolen inside the New Kingston corporate car park on St. Lucia Avenue in September 2023. At the time, information emerged that the robbers, gunmen, trailed Evans, who had made a huge cash withdrawal from a bank earlier that day. The police theorized that that robbery was the motive for their attack. But of course, that conclusion did not go down well with the Integrity Commission. Yes? And the Integrity Commission criticized the police last week in its annual report. The commission saying that the police had failed to provide any real tangible update to it as to the progress of the investigations 10 months after the incident. Well, yesterday, DCP Bailey appealed to Mr. Evans to file the complaint in order for them to advance the probe.
We want to appeal to the individual who was injured to make himself available to be interviewed and to give the police a statement so they can progress the investigation.
Deputy Commissioner Fitz Bailey, head of the crime portfolio. Well, something is amiss here. Something is amiss because Justice Panton is not a fool. Justice Panton is a learned former president of the Court of Appeal, one of our finest legal minds. And for him to sign off on a report that says that there's been no update, yes, 10 months after, yeah, we just don't hear from the police. It doesn't add up. And we have with us the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitz Bailey, on this matter of the lack of progress in the incident in September last year in which a director of the Integrity Commission, Mr. Ryan Evans, was robbed in the car park in New Kingston. And the issue surfaced last week when the Commission, in its annual report, made the point that this high-profile incident and supposed police investigation had not really produced any real tangible progress after 10 months. DCP Bailey?
Yes, good morning.
10 months after, what have the police investigators uncovered in this incident in which Mr. Evans was robbed?
All right. Let me say good morning to you and your listeners. I will step back a little. That, as you rightly said, the incident occurred on the 21st of September 2023, about 10:43 a.m. The police went on the scene at 11 a.m. that same day, and they commenced their investigation. About 1 p.m. that same day, Mr. Christie, the executive director, another member of the Integrity Commission, were updated on the status of the investigation by acting ACP Clean March at that time.
On the same afternoon?
The same afternoon.
Uh-huh.
The police did a lot of work in terms of, which I won't get into, canvassing the area, trying to identify witnesses and evidential, opportunities. There were 2 detectives, inspector, one is now a deputy superintendent, who were actually leading that investigation. A number of the major buildings within this space were canvassed with the intention really to get CCTV footage, etc. The police was able to secure some CCTV opportunity. We don't know how valuable they are. Those were obtained and sent off to the Communication and Forensic Department, our branch, for processing. Several other activities took place. Mr. Evans was contacted on September 23rd by the inspector for a statement to be recorded. He indicated that he was presently recuperating at home. Several other activities took place. The same day when Mr. Evans was contacted and he said he was on the 25th, actually, the police went back into the space. They did a lot of work. And on that day, the team again met and updated Mr. Greg Christie, Executive Director of the Integrity Commission. I just want to lay it straight that a number of activities actually took place. But the bigger issue is that We have not yet obtained a signed statement from Mr. Evans, despite several attempts by the police.
How come?
Well, maybe Mr. Evans can explain that. As a matter of fact, on February the 2nd of this year, he was scheduled for an interview with the police at 2 p.m. And about 4 p.m., the interview was rescheduled after the police made contact with Mr. Evans, who did not turn up for the 2 o'clock interview. On the 5th again...
Hold on, you said you made contact and he told you that he would have to reschedule or what?
Yeah, it was rescheduled. The interview was scheduled for 2 p.m.
Yes.
And he did not turn up, so the police made contact.
Uh-huh. With him?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
And it was just, the appointment was rescheduled.
To when?
Monday, I don't get the date when it was rescheduled to. But on Monday the 5th, which I assume that was the date it was rescheduled to, he attended the Alphatry police station.
Mm-hmm.
He was interviewed by the police. And the police actually, as you know, we would normally do the statement, was given to Mr. Evans to read over. And he actually opted to take the statement home to review and possible, according to what I was briefed, to reconstruct. I don't know what that is, the statement. An email was also sent to him, and he acknowledged the email. And he expressed that he would return the printed version of the statement by the 6th of February, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that to date, we have not gotten a signed statement from Mr. Evans. And I mean, the police can only investigate.
Hold on, before you go any further.
Mm-hmm.
So he did attend in February this year at the Halfway Tree Police location.
Yes.
And spoke with the investigators.
Yes, they interviewed him. Yes.
They interviewed him.
Yes.
And based on his responses, as is normal, they crafted a statement.
Yes.
And then he was to read and make any changes, any amendments that he felt was necessary.
Yes.
And he agreed to do that.
Yes.
Right? And he was then given that copy.
He took the statement, said he's going to go and reread and reconstruct.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what I was briefed on.
Uh-huh.
And then he would return it. And to date, he has not done that.
And have you or your officers reached out to him further to find out why hasn't he returned it?
They have reached out, and it's just excuses upon excuses.
Among those excuses, what?
I don't want to get into those specifics.
Why I'm asking is because I'm just learning that elsewhere he gave an interview to say that he has been traumatized as part of the reason why he has not.
There was some fear on his part.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I want to highlight, Mr. Hughes, that at no time we have to understand that this Integrity Commission did not report a matter to us. It was Mr. Evans is the complainant. And the police is not under any obligation to update the Integrity Commission on our investigation. As far as we are concerned, based on our assessment and investigation, it has nothing to do with him being employed to the Integrity Commission.
Oh?
It's about the way he does business and establish a pattern, and the criminal identified that pattern and decided to go at him to rob him. He was robbed of a significant amount of money.
Oh, hold on there now, DCP. You said your theory, as in the police theory, as to why he was robbed, was based on an established pattern of Mr. Evans to do business?
Yeah.
Involving cash?
Cash.
And that pattern was apparently known?
I guess after routine, criminals tend to They have their network all over. Let me use that term.
Yes.
So it has the point I want to.
And you speak of a large sum of cash, the DCP.
Over 700,000.
Oh. So that is what they took.
I'll just say it's over 700,000 based on my understanding.
So you said you're under no obligation to report to the Integrity Commission because it was not the Integrity Commission that was robbed.
Yeah.
The Integrity Commission wasn't the victim, right?
No.
So there's no complaint from the Integrity Commission.
Yeah.
So if that is so, why then did you speak with the Executive Director of the Commission, Mr.
It was
Greg
done
Christie?
out of courtesy. The officers went and they actually, the first day, remember the first day when the incident happened, there were all sorts of theories bandied about. Whether it was in pursuit of his doing his job as an officer of the Integrity Commission, and whether, there are some politics that actually came, they tried to also include politics in it. And I remember when I came out and gave the report of that it was in pursuit, it was a robbery. I was even also, statements were made about us coming out so early to say what it is, and want to give the impression that we were influenced in making the statement. But we have nothing to hide as an organization. We just speak the facts as it is. And the fact is, one of the things that I want to say is that when you document something to say that the police was tardy in their investigation and all of that, that's a record that will be there for generation to see. That a member of the Integrity Commission was shot and injured. And because the police showed scant regard for the investigation, our grandchildren and great-grandchildren can have access to those records. And I think, the Office of the Integrity Commission, that body is quite a significant and powerful body. And I think one needs to make sure that, the due diligence is done. And, quality control, do we have someone in the department to ensure that, we look at reports before they are sent out, quality control. That's just important. The JSF is a big organization, and when you make a statement to the effect that the JSF is tardy, and there's no basis for that, when the person is a senior manager within the department, and that person could have been contacted just to say what is the status of the investigation before put it in writing and send it to Parliament. That's just, it's an unfortunate situation, I would say.
Well, it is damaging for the police, force.
It doesn't come across that well. When, as far as the police is concerned, we don't really have a complaint, because the gentleman, Mr. Evans, has not given us a statement. Mm-hmm. If we want to drag our mind and to be, he could have been shot by anybody.
Yes. Well, let me ask you, DCP, can you hold a few more minutes? Let me just take a quick break and come back. Stay with us. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Fitz Bailey. Up until now, Ryan Evans, the director of the Integrity Commission, who was shot and injured in September last year, which sparked a big controversy over whether he was shot because he was a director of the Integrity Commission. He has not given a formal statement. He has not signed any statement. Yes? DCP Fitz Bailey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I want to ask. You said based on what the police investigators have been able to establish, Mr. Evans became a target because of a pattern of doing business where he would do cash withdrawals, yes, and had established a routine. Are you able to tell the people of Jamaica this morning whether that business had to do with his substantive job as a director of the Integrity Commission of Jamaica?
I don't want to get into too much specific, but I think it has nothing to do with his role as a member of the Integrity Commission. His personal life, personal life.
Okay.
But I think Cliff, I think the point, and I reference quality assurance. A report to me from the Integrity Commission, it carries a lot of weight.
Yes, it does.
And I think when you consider that Mr. Evans worked as a senior director at the Integrity Commission office, and I wonder if when that report was prepared, if Mr. Evans was contacted and asked to give an update on the investigation that he, in relation to the shooting and the robbery. I think that is just basic common sense and what is decent to do. And in the event you're going to write something to basically, I use a terminal, I'm not going to withdraw it, tarnish the reputation of another organization. I think it would be the decent thing to do is to call someone in authority within the organization to say, what is the status of this investigation? When there are other issues, we get called. So it's not that we have, from the commissioner to any one of the senior officers, our telephone numbers are accessible, easily had. I know people within the Integrity Commission that do have my number at the highest level within the Integrity Commission. And I'm saying to put out a report to say that the police basically is doing nothing and we are not updating the Integrity Commission, when in fact Integrity Commission did not, as I said, report a case. It's Mr. Evans who, as far as I'm concerned, is a private business in its private capacity, I would say. And then, that it is reported in the
annual report.
Yes.
Yes.
It's an unfortunate situation, very unfortunate.
It's not only unfortunate, DCP Bailey, it is troubling. It is troubling, given, and let me be very, very mild, given the recent missteps or gaffes of the Commission in how it communicates with the public of Jamaica. It is troubling because this one, without further information, and I think this one, again, not for the first time, the Integrity Commission ought to say to the people of Jamaica what went wrong here, for it to have included in its annual report this criticism of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, yes, without availing itself of what the information you have conveyed to us, that it is its own director, Evans, who has failed, who has not signed the statement, yes, based on what he told the police. He has not officially signed a statement. And all the members of the commission would know that if he has not signed a statement, he has not given one. There's no statement if it is not signed.
There's no statement.
Exactly.
So technically, we don't have a report.
Not technically, practically, you don't.
Yes.
Yes. And for the commission to have included that criticism in the annual report, something is amiss, because, frankly, I don't think Justice Panton and the commissioners and the staff there have gone mad. Is it therefore they have become incompetent? What it is, I don't know.
That's above a pay grade. I won't get to that.
But it is, and that is why I'm saying it's not unfortunate. It is troubling, because we have had too many missteps, miscommunication from the Integrity Commission, and all of which combine to undermine confidence and trust in the work of the Commission. That is why it is troubling.
In fact, I just want to highlight one other aspect. There is a person that we suspect, who is now deceased, who we suspect might have been involved in the incident with Mr. Evans. And we actually did what you call, we if you want to call it an informal ID parade, we use a collage of photographs and show it to him. So I just want to say that we have done a lot of things
to show it to who?
To that's Mr. Evans.
Oh, since February, since he gave the statement?
No, on the 5th when he came to give the statement.
Oh, you gave him a collage?
Yes.
Of potential suspects?
Suspects.
And did he identify?
Not a suspect. One of them, we suspect someone who was involved in the robbery. Was killed. So the collage included his photograph.
Of the dead man.
The dead man. Because you can't just show him that photograph. You put a group of photographs together.
Yes.
And then he looked to see, if he identified the person who might have been involved.
And did he identify the person?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh. Wow.
But I just show you the type of work that we have done. Notwithstanding not having a signed, a formal report, that I may say, from him. Yes.
Well, DCP Bailey, boy. And will the commission remain silent, as it has, in relation to this very incident and the Greg Christie comment, which was quite inflammatory? Yeah, it has remained mum on it. Now, this statement in its annual report, now we're hearing from the head of crime that, listen, Mr. Evans has not given a signed statement up until now. Yeah, will Justice Panton, the chairman who signed the annual report, remain silent and quiet? DCP Bailey, one other thing. You didn't come here to discuss this, so let me declare that up front. The Gabriel King murder investigation has gone dead?
It's not dead, but as I indicated in the report that we were expecting, it's technology, just as I say, the phone. It took us a long while before we got access to the phone and tried to infer anything from it. But when the phone was processed, there was no everything of evidential value. Because my information on the phone was basically clean. If you understand, there was no... And we understand technology, what can be done. So I just leave it at that. But we have not closed the investigation.
Well, I'm not going to allow you to leave it at that. Was the phone wiped?
No, I'm not going to say it's wiped, but we didn't find anything of evidential value.
Do you believe it was wiped?
I am not going to infuse my belief.
Do you have anything to suggest that it was wiped?
All I will say, we are dealing with technology, and we understand that there are advanced technological solutions all over, and things can be done remotely. I just leave it at that.
Including wiping the phone?
Yeah, that can be done remotely, yes. It can be done remotely.
Oh, I see.
I agree.
Oh, I see. Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner Bailey.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
There you are. There is nothing like hearing the other side of the story. Because if you were to read what Justice Panton said in the Integrity Commission report 2023 to 2024, the annual report, you would think that the police were tardy in their duties. But, Seymour Panton gave it all away. He actually gave it away in the very language that he used in the IC report. Let me remind you by reading it very quickly. It says here, shooting of a director. During September 2023, a serious criminal act was committed in the vicinity of the office of the Commission. One of its directors was shot and robbed. That crime remains unsolved. I imagine that investigations are taking place. You heard that? And there you have it, my viewers and my subscribers, the dead giveaway in what he had said. He imagined, in other words, this very learned, accomplished, experienced judge of the Supreme Court, of the Court of Appeal, he has moved up through the ranks. I believe he came as far from clerk of the court, and he moved up through the ranks and became president of the highest judicial body in Jamaica, the Court of Appeal. And here he is giving his report as the chairman of the Integrity Commission in the annual report, which was tabled in Parliament and is now on their website. Here he is telling us that he imagined that investigations are taking place. So, you see, this is why I'm of the opinion, that the judges should not be sitting on the Integrity Commission. Why would it be that Justice Panton is imagining? Because as a trained judge, as a judge with much experience, he's accustomed to sitting in his court and information coming to him in the form of filings and submissions from attorneys. The only time that a judge would say go out and do some research is when they have to make a judgment in the case. That's when the real brain work comes in for the judge. And so for Justice Panton, it may never have occurred to him that what he should do before he makes any further comments on the matter is to consult with the director. Did the police contact you? And evidently he did ask Mr. Evans, because in his report he said, however, neither the director nor the commission has received any update since the incident. So he did ask Mr. Evans. Perhaps Mr. Evans didn't tell him everything, but he should have called the police, Fitz Bailey, and find out what's the update, what's the latest. After that, then you come now and you give an update to the public. But he was not mindful to do any such thing. He was just babbling on and making comments which maligned the police force. And in this case, it was not something that they deserved, not this time around. And I don't know, he's not going to apologize. I'm not going to ask him to apologize. He just have to take his blows. Fitz Bailey came out and say what he had to say. And I think we have both sides of the story now. And that should settle that. However, there is still the matter of the robbery of Mr. Evans, and why it is that Mr. Evans seems not to be prepared to cooperate with the police. Well, he gave as his reason fear. Now, what is it that is so difficult in making a report to the police? Just make the report to the police, ensure that the report is there, because there is nothing to stop the perpetrators from committing the act again. If they were watching you, as Mr. Bailey seems to think, and watching your habits, if you have a business, you still will be transporting money in order to, pay your staff, is that it? Pay your bills? And therefore they may prey on you again. I would have thought that to make the report is something that may act as a deterrent to these gunmen. Now, for me, if I were the police, I might dig a little deeper. Maybe they did. I would want to know something more about that money. What was that money for? And he would have to bring me evidence to show that that money was for legitimate purposes. It's not that you're accusing of Mr. Evans of anything, but if you're a police and you're investigating, you must cover everything. And this is how now you'll be able to get at your gunmen. Including in that investigation would be the possibility of blackmail. Is it possible that that money was for something other than what he may tell you? Investigate everything. But I have a suspicion that based upon what Mr. Bailey said, that they accepted that that money was for his own personal use. He perhaps was not prepared to say what it was. And I would have hoped, and I almost feel sure, that Mr. Bailey wasn't just going to take his word for it. He would have found a way to check and ensure that it is so. But still we are concerned. that somebody who is attached to the Integrity Commission, the body that is supposed to be investigating corruption, is telling us that he's afraid. He's afraid, right? And he's not prepared to cooperate with the police in order to catch gunmen. Something don't right with that picture. I don't know what you think. Well, tell me what you think in the comment section, because I don't think that he should be working there. I mean, here's a piece of news item from the Gleaner. It says, Evans is the Director of Corruption Prevention, Stakeholder Engagement and Anti-Corruption Strategy at the IC. That was one of the divisions that was created by the commissioners, which is permitted under law. And he's the guy that goes around and sensitize persons about corruption, what it means, and how to prevent it, and so on. So why would anybody be targeting him? I mean, I would expect them to be targeting Mr. Beresford, who is the Director of Information and Complaints. He's the one who can put a declarant into problems if he were to refer their declarations to the commission for further investigations to be done. He doesn't seem to be afraid. I mean, this is a man who wanted to lock up the cabinet after all. I mean, he's a man that don't joke. I would have expected that Mr. Kevin Stevenson would have been more, or should be more afraid, because he's the man who does the investigations. He's the Director of Investigations. So why would you want to go and target the man who is simply going around like a teacher, educating people about corruption and speaking to stakeholders about it and developing strategies? I mean, that don't even make no sense. So what does he have to fear? Clearly, whatever he has to fear, contrary to what it was that was being, suggested at the time, that this was an attack on the Integrity Commission itself, it would appear as though it's something personal. It's a personal attack, and the response of Mr. Evans is also personal and nothing to do with his job. But for me, I don't know if I want them kind of Freedipus people in a position like that. That's just my opinion. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share. Remember, we are on this 2,000 shares drive. Please share it in your group. You may have on your Facebook page, Instagram. I don't even know how pink wall work, but if you find it interesting or any part of it, you can take a part of it and share it and refer back to the video so that they can come and listen. And leave your comments. Give the video a thumbs up if you like the content, as well as subscribe if you have not yet done so. So for now, thank you again for joining me. I appreciate your company. Till next time, walk good.